EVs are often described as a disruptive technology. So what exactly is a disruptive technology? Well, if you look back about 200 years, if you wanted to contact someone who didn't live very close to you, you simply wrote them a letter. And that letter would take a day or so to get there and a day or so to get the reply. Well, then Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone, which eventually ended up in all of our houses. Following on from that, Martin Cooper of Motorola made the very first handheld mobile phone call in 1973. Yeah, it was that recently. Well, now, of course, everyone has a mobile, and the red phone boxes have gone, as have landlines. Most of us now don't have one, just have a cable for broadband or internet. So disruptive technology can cost thousands of jobs, yes, but constructive, because we got the freedom now to communicate whenever, wherever we wish, and thousands of new jobs being created for mobiles, shops, online stores, accessories, mobile phone towers and networks. Well, disruptive technology is better in some ways for the jobs and the convenience and the price. So not all disruptive technology is bad. Hi, I'm Dave. Welcome to Dave Takes It On. Today we're having a look at the dealership model that is used for selling cars today. Well, the dealership model is basically flawed. It has a number of disadvantages, but a number of major advantages to the manufacturers. Let's look at those first. The manufacturer makes the car and then sells it to the dealer. The dealer takes it. The manufacturer doesn't need to go and look for a customer, need to try and sell them the car, take in part exchange, anything like that. The manufacturer simply sells it to one of his dealers. That's a sale. However, when you come to figures, that sale is not really indicative of your performance as a manufacturer. It's very convenient, but it doesn't give you a true picture of what's going on at the dealership and customer level. Now, the second problem is that Ford does not get paid by the dealer for that sale. They might sell them the car, but the dealers can't afford to buy them. So all dealership deliveries are financed. It's a very simple process. Normally the manufacturer just sends the car to the dealership and the dealership finances it. And that means in principle they don't pay anything there and then. They get the car for free, they can put it on the forecourt, and they have a period of grace, period of interest free, which is typically 30, 60 or 90 days. And during that time, dealers got the car for free. If they can sell it during that time, then the dealer gets the sale, the dealer's able to pay the manufacturer, and the dealer keeps the profit. Lovely simple system. However, if the dealer is not able to sell the car within the interest-free period, then a finance payment comes in. It's a bit like a lease. The dealer will pay a set sum of money each month for that car. And as long as the car stays on the forecourt, the dealer will pay for it. Now, again, this is fine because Ford doesn't care how the dealer pays for it, as long as Ford gets paid, and Ford gets paid by the finance company, which does the plan for the dealer. However, it gets complicated because Ford operate their own credit. It's Ford Credit. So Ford is effectively using one particular department to buy that car off the manufacturer, which is Ford Motors, and then lease it to the dealers. So that means every car that's delivered to a dealer increases the debt of Ford Credit. Great. Now, as long as cars are moving, then there's a constant flow. Cars are going to the dealers are selling them on to end customers who pay for them. Dealer clears the financing with Ford Credit for that particular car. Another car arrives. It's a lovely cycle that goes on. The only problem with it is if the dealer doesn't actually sell as many cars as the manufacturer is sending them. And that is exactly where we are today. This is not EVs, this is ICE cars. So the manufacturer keeps sending cars to the dealers just keep on getting deeper and deeper and deeper into debt. The payments, the monthly payments for their plan gets more and more and more expensive, and it's a problem because at the end of the day, there are very few cars being sold to end customers who pay for it. Now, those customers may well use Ford Credit to take out a loan or a lease themselves, but Ford Credit is still able to pay off Ford Manufacturing, Ford Motors, for the car that was delivered. And this is a new deal then, new finance deal, with a customer then making regular payments. And all that's happening at the moment, not just in America, but this is UK and Europe, is the number of sales of cars to end customers is falling. The number of sales of cars from the manufacturer to the dealers has not changed. In fact, it's increased slightly recently.
Oh my God.
All right, Pops, one of our community members took a video from their local Ford dealer, and I don't know if you see what I see, Pops, but it is a lot of trucks, and we're going to see some SUVs in just a moment. Sitting. This is the unfortunate reality for Ford dealers nationwide. We got cars and trucks galore.
I did see an open spot there, so maybe we could get Ford to send them another truck to fill. And there's a Lightning or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Oh my goodness, this place has too many units for all that asphalt.
So the dealers now are becoming more and more stacked with cars at a time when they have less and less customers. So when Renault or Ford or Peugeot or anyone simply says, we've sold this many cars this month, they haven't. They've simply sent that many cars to the dealers and they've financed most of those cars themselves, so the debt grows. And up until now, it's not been a problem. These dealers, they're multi-million pound businesses. They're not small dealers. They are just larger dealers, so they've never had a problem with liquidity. That is the amount of money that's available for the dealer to pay for them. Unfortunately now, with dropping sales, the number of cars sold, and with rising interest rates, it's becoming an issue. And dealers, for the first time in a very long time, are now starting to turn away cars. So the manufacturer now is stockpiling cars. These don't count as sales, whereas previously they did, even though they were stockpiled at a dealership. So we have a problem developing, which is very simply that Ford Manufacturing can no longer send as many cars to their dealers as they would like, as they make. And the dealers cannot sell as many cars as they need to finance their operations. Now, the one answer to this is dealers should discount the cars. But unfortunately, the dealers need the higher prices to be able to pay for the interest on the cars that are being sent by Ford Motors. And it's a never-ending spiral. It just keeps getting worse. And it's now reaching a stage in 2024 when it is going to become a serious issue. This is the dealership model, selling cars to their own dealers, and those dealers not being able to sell them on to the customers in the numbers in which they're arriving. Now, one of the ways around this they can do is to register cars, and they do this on a regular basis. So they will register a car as a demonstrator car, and they get a special discount from the manufacturer for doing so. Or they'll register it to hit sales quotas, and then they'll sell it on shortly after as a low mileage car, maybe 10 or 20 miles or something, but at a discounted price. But there is only a certain amount of times you can do that before, again, you're stacked up with cars that you can't sell. So, from a manufacturer's point of view, the model has worked up until now because the sales always kept ahead of the manufacturing. Today, that's reversed. The manufacturing is ahead of the sales to end customers. And Ford can only continue if the dealers pay on time. If the dealers go bust or stop selling or just run out of money, and the dealers don't pay Ford credit, then Ford is just selling cars to itself, and the debt is just racking up at a frightening rate. So that's where we're finding ourselves today, in a situation where it's very difficult for that model to continue. It's also a problem because there's an alternative now, which is selling direct online, which we do almost every day with every other product. See, when a customer goes into a Ford dealer, it's a hard sell. Most of the salesmen are on commission, and it means that they want the best deal for the garage. Customers often walk away having ordered a car, but feeling, I might have been ripped off. I might have paid more than I could have had I stayed a bit longer and argued. So the dealership experience is also deteriorating. Customers are less willing to go to a dealer and put them through that experience. So it's a bit of a perfect storm. The manufacturers can't push all of the cars they make onto the dealers. The dealers can't sell all of the cars they receive onto the customers. The customers are backing off visiting the showrooms. And it's not just because of the experience, it's also because the customers themselves can't afford what they could afford last year or 3 years ago. Interest rates have gone up. Energy bills have gone up. Everything's gone up. Inflation went really high all around the world. So the customers now have less funds available or less credit available. Now, Ford's answer to this was to simply increase the price of their cars, and they've done that again this week. If they're not earning enough money, just put the price up. However, if the problem is that the dealer can't sell them at the old price, what on earth is putting the price up going to do for sales now? And the answer is nothing at all. It will simply increase the debt of Ford Motors through Ford Credit. They are going to have to finance a higher sum of money to allow the dealers to take the cars. This is rapidly coming to a head, and 2024 I see as a time when a lot of manufacturers and dealers are going to reach the end of their financial ability to carry on as they are. The manufacturers cannot make money if there's nowhere to send the new cars once they're made. Once the dealers are full and the production car parks are full, the factory car parks are full, what do they do with the cars? And why keep on making cars at a cost that you know you're not going to sell? Because in some cases you might have 3, 6 or 12 months supply of that particular car actually stacked up somewhere unsold. It's heading towards a crash, big crash, and there's no easy answer. It's going to result in massive discounting at some point. Ford and the dealers have to get people buying their cars. And if the cars are too dear and the interest rates are too high, then Ford and the dealers are going to have to drop the prices and offer fantastic finance deals. We're already starting to see them, interest rates down about 2%. Obviously, Ford subsidises this, but it's far better for them to subsidise the interest they were going to make than it is to subsidise the car, which won't sell at all and won't earn them anything. So for those of you who still like ICE cars, I would suggest this year you're going to be in for an absolute cracker of a time. You can go round, you can negotiate your own deal, you can negotiate your own interest rate. This will be a fabulous time if you like buying ICE cars. Now I, as an EV fan, I hope you don't, but I have to say this is what's happening. If you are in the market for a new ICE car, whoever it's from, Ford, Vauxhall, Peugeot, Renault, Toyota, doesn't matter. They're all in exactly the same situation. This year is going to be a fabulous time for doing it. Now, wait any longer? No, because if this continues and the crush prices don't create the sales that are needed, then some of these companies will be going out of business by the end of the year or early 2025. And you could be lumbered with a car and the manufacturer is no longer in business. That's not ideal. So time will tell what actually happens, but there's an awful lot of companies. We use Ford as an example, but it's only instead of saying Ford, Volkswagen, GM, Toyota, Honda, it just gets ridiculous. So we use Ford as an example. It is a problem for all of the ICE manufacturers. Thanks for watching. I'm Dave.
Well, thanks very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please click the like button. And if you'd like to see more, please subscribe and click the notification bell so we can notify you next time we launch a video. And a massive thank you to all our Patreon supporters. It is your support that enables us to go out and make these videos for you. So thank you very much for your contribution. I'm Dave.